Good day everyone, Complaining Gamer here. Tomorrow is a big day for the non-Cemu patrons because 1.7.5 will have its public release. Now I've had a week to play with it as a patron and it's time to give you my conclusion and touch also very lightly on 1.7.6. It's important to remember that I come at each one of these topics with my own personal experience, and the more I play with Cemu and the more iterations it has, the less I feel that I actually know. Each new version of Cemu seems to introduce different problems, different issues. So you have positives and you also have negatives. So that's what we're going to talk about, the positives and negatives of 1.7.5. Now I'm all about supporting the wider community at large, and if you don't know a YouTuber called Reznoire, he does a good job of providing a Cemu preview where he takes a look at a variety of titles and how they are affected with each new version of Cemu. So I'm going to point you directly to his preview video of 1.7.5 if you want quite a detailed look at a variety of titles. So on to my personal experience. One thing I should say is that last night on stream I finished Breath of the Wild. Now what does finished mean? It means that for me personally, I did the 4 divine beasts and then went on to kill Ganon. So yes, you can complete the game start to finish. Now, we have to come on to that 100% point. What does 100% mean exactly? Can you do everything in the game? Yes, you can. Can you do everything flawlessly? No, you can't. There are still some issues. But as most of you should know by now, the 0.1 FPS bug is fixed. The camera shrine issue is fixed. Taking pictures, of course, is not fixed. Mechanically they work, but visually you can't see a thing. And of course, for those of you who are interested in collectibles, I've already provided a Hyrule Compendium fix. So tomorrow, the 30th of April, it sees the public release of Cemu 1.7.5, and I must commend those of you who are able to wait that 1 week between the Patreon releases, because I just would not be able to do that for the mere $5 a month. However, let's talk about what you're going to experience, the good and the bad. As I said earlier, the more I use Cemu, the less I seem to know how to use it. Due to its completely erratic behavior, I keep on having to change my personal preferences and settings, so it becomes nearly impossible in terms of what to recommend for you people out there. Okay, let's get to the point. Many of you are excited about tomorrow, and I understand. So what are you going to see with 1.7.5? Well, after spending a week using it and keeping up to date with Discord and Reddit, there has pretty much been an across-the-board consensus that performance has increased. And this, of course, is to my surprise. I did not expect this. So there is a performance increase. You are going to see an increase in your FPS. However, this does come at a cost. Now, what is that cost? For me, I saw a huge increase in graphical glitches. Now, of course, I'm focusing on Breath of the Wild right now, but pretty much every other game on Wii U has also seen an FPS increase. Now, once again, I will refer you back to the Reznoire video that covers that quite well. The FPS increase comes at a cost, and that cost is the increase in graphical problems. It also comes with an increase in crashes. Now, this was my personal experience. Some people said that their stability increased and all of a sudden they're having this wonderful experience. My experience actually decreased compared to 1.7.4. I was having issues that I had never seen before. I was having crashes all the time. The game was constantly in disco rave mode in terms of the visual issues. Those people that saw the greatest benefit, of course, were those that were already having a good time. So for example, people with the very powerful hardware, they went from having a good time to having a great time. But like I say, this is not the perfect remedy. Tomorrow with 1.7.5, some of you are going to say, this is incredible. And some of you are going to say, wow, this experience got worse. In terms of tweaks and recommendations, I literally changed everything that I was doing from 1.7.4 to 1.7.5. In the end, I reached a point where I was about as vanilla can be. So I stopped using graphic packs, stopped using any kind of speed manipulation, and I literally just played the game with a shader cache, with the pre-compiled folder. So everything was basically default and fence skip. That's what I ended up doing to get a certain degree of stability from 1.7.5, but it still crashed fairly regularly. Let me reiterate, some of you are going to be very happy and some of you are going to be bitterly disappointed. Once again, AMD seems to be on the back burner as always. This is a pre-warning, people. You might have a bit of a funky experience tomorrow. So if you are having some problems, I recommend a fresh Cemu folder with a fresh shader cache, no speed hack, no graphic pack, turn off NVIDIA shader cache, and just go as vanilla can be. However, on the other hand, if you simply overwrite the Cemu 1.7.4 EXE with 1.7.5 and you're having a perfect experience, then I'm happy for you. As always, people, I have a few screen grabs from Reddit of Discord conversations with XApp, so let's see what he has been saying recently. When initially asked about 1.7.6, XApp said no news before 1.7.5 releases, but we already have plans for 1.7.6 and the news will come right after 1.7.5 released. Clarification a few days later. Then he went on to say, Patreon news with our plans for 1.7.6 coming soon. As of the 29th of April, nothing yet, people. Then we go on to a question from a Discord user who says 1.7.4 to 1.7.5 was a huge jump in terms of improvement. Would you say that the jump to 1.7.6 would be the same, more minor, or even better perhaps? XApp said, I cannot look into the future. Work on 1.7.6 just started and there is always a lot of uncertainty when fixing bugs, improving compatibility, increasing performance, etc. Another Discord user asked, Yo XApp, will 1.7.5 get any minor BCD updates like previous versions? XApp simply said no, there isn't really anything minor that needs fixing. Now, on the topic of crashes, we have quite a bit of a discussion here, and this might be interesting for you people out there because I do expect that some of you are going to have quite a lot of issues with 1.7.5 in terms of crashes. So, XApp said, did I ever mention that I actually know what's causing the random crashes? It never was a mystery, but fixing it means cutting performance in half. It's caused by GPU not being perfectly synchronized to CPU in every situation. If the CPU runs too far ahead, it can crash. Specifically, the texture readback implemented in 1.7.4 causes the crashes. It will overwrite random game data if it happens too late. So what is the fix and how does it affect performance? The fix is to implement proper synchronization, which reduces performance by at least 50%, probably worse. Flocker asked, so does it get triggered more by fence skip? XApp said yes. It continues, another way to fix it is to make CPU side emulation of the GPU command processor faster. If it never lags behind, there are no crashes. And finally, he said, but then again, I can't magically make it 10 times faster, so I'll have to look for another solution. On a side note, for those of you who are interested in Cemu Dev XApp's PC specs, he said that he has an i7 1.7.5 with a GTX 780 and 8GB of RAM. That's pretty much all the noteworthy comments so far, people. 1.7.5 is released tomorrow, my friends. I wish and hope the best experience for you. Good luck. Some of you are definitely going to need it, and some of you are going to be sitting pretty at a constant 30 FPS. You're just going to have to test it for yourself. As a final note, I should say that high RAM usage issues persist, so that's something to remember. That's all for now, people. I've been the Complaining Gamer. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. In case you didn't know, Cemu has a changelog, so you can see exactly what has changed between the different iterations of Cemu. It also has a compatibility list, so you can see which state which game is in. Always remember to check those two things. All the relevant links to what was discussed in this video will be found in the description below. And of course, as always, please feel free to join me on Twitch over at Complaining James, where I am streaming daily. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to leave a thumbs up. If you hated it, leave a thumbs down, but always leave a comment. If you like what you see and you want more, then remember to subscribe.